Well, a very good evening to everybody, and welcome to the AP Forum here at ETHS. I'm your superintendent, Dr. Eric Witherspoon, and it's my pleasure to welcome you and just give some encouragement and some thoughts about advanced placement courses. You're here because you have an interest. We know we have students, we know we have family members, we know that you have been thinking about the possibility of taking advanced placement course. Let me jump to the bottom line. Yes, you should take an advanced placement course. And as you can see, and we'll be able to examine, there are many pathways to advanced placement courses and many to choose from here at ETHS. But most importantly is these courses are important to you. They're important to your learning, first and foremost. But they're also important for your academic progression, to being able to take a college-level course and to be able to have that kind of experience while still here at the high school, and to realize that you have the kind of preparation to be taking college-level courses. We know, for example, from research, that students who take at least one advanced placement course in high school, even if they happen to not do as well in that course as they had hoped to do, still do better in college because they've taken advanced placement. We also know that right now you have an opportunity to be earning some significant college credit. It's now required in the state of Illinois in every public university that if you take an advanced placement course in your high school here in ETHS and you score a 3 or higher, and let me quickly explain, you can score anywhere from a 1 to a 5. If you score a 3 or higher, you are guaranteed some college credit for having taken that course. Not only is it great to go to college and have some credit already built up, but how about going to college and knowing that there's at least some credit that you or your family don't have to pay for? Not a bad deal. We also know that you got a great chance of getting a 3 or higher here at ETHS. Our AP courses are really, really good. I hope that you've come to recognize that our teachers are really, really good. But because of that combination and because of the support that students give to one another in AP courses, we have seen more students taking advanced placement in recent years, far more, and we have seen more students getting 3s and 4s, again on that 1 to 5 scale at ETHS in recent years. So the odds are with you. You're not only going to get good coursework, you're not only going to get good learning, you're not only going to develop more academic skills and prove to yourself that you're ready to take college courses, but you're also going to have a very high likelihood of scoring in a range that you'll be able to get that college credit. It's a great deal. And I can just encourage you, try an advanced placement course. Some of you may only take one while at ETHS. Some of you may end up taking several, but know this. We have an amazing support system here at ETHS. We have all sorts of things built in to the programming to support you in succeeding in AP courses at ETHS. And I just encourage you, you're going to a great high school, you're going to one of the best high schools in all of America, and you have an opportunity to take some of the best courses available anywhere. It's a great day to be a Wildcat. And now I want to introduce Ms. Beth Airy, our college and career counselor, who's going to share more detail with you.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon, for that wonderful introduction. The message of this forum focuses on awareness, access, and success. Awareness requires early planning. Access means doing the right things to get where you want to go. And success in high school is the foundation for college and career readiness. As a high school, it is our responsibility to promote college and career readiness for all. The urgency in our work is highlighted by statistics, showing a growing number of students are not graduating from college. Some of this has to do with the lack of preparedness for college-level coursework, but more importantly, the expectations of students' academic experience, including advanced study skills, analytical reading and writing, and the ability to communicate ideas to make connections. It is imperative that in order to understand what will be available to you after high school, you must begin planning early. If a career pathway is your goal, where will you obtain the skills needed to be a successful employee leader? If college is your goal, you may choose to search for a school based on location, prestige, or major, for example, but colleges will review you, the applicant, based on grades, test scores, extracurriculars, diversity, character, and course selection. So be thoughtful and planful about taking AP courses. At ETHS, we encourage all students to take at least one AP course. Research tells us that students who have completed one AP course are more successful in college. Research also shows that taking more does not create a cumulative effect of success. Don't take AP courses because your friends are. Whether you intend to take an AP or not, can you continue to take core courses and electives that relate to your goals and interests, pushing yourself to accept the challenge. Being thoughtful about balancing your courses is important to your well-being. Take inventory of what else you have going on in your life. Work, sports, activities, family, friends, fun, and sleep. Many of our students experience a lot of stress and pressure to do well. We see this all too often in student services. We want you to be motivated and enthusiastic about pushing yourself, but please think carefully before taking multiple AP courses. Consider the hours you will need to spend on homework and studying while also engaging in the other things that make you, you. When considering teacher recommendations, keep in mind that teachers make recs in isolation. If multiple teachers recommend that you take AP, it doesn't mean you should take them all. It just means you have a choice. There's only so much time in the day. We believe it's important that students take care of themselves physically and emotionally. Please use your resources and consult with your counselor regarding which AP courses may be best for you to take. During the course request process, students, parents, and guardians will be asked to read and sign an AP agreement. The AP agreement outlines benefits and expectations of enrollment in AP courses. It also outlines the mindset necessary to be successful and the supports available to students. By signing, students and parents and guardians are agreeing that they understand that the expectation that they will not be able to change their mind and drop down to a lower level except under very unique circumstances. I ask you to consider the following words on our Team ASAP logo: balance, challenge, passionate, perseverance, prepare, engage, insight, cooperation, communication, discipline, and leadership. All are descriptive of your AP experience and what is required to be successful. Lastly, I leave you with this. College fit is not just about wanting to get in somewhere, but can you compete for a spot where you want to go and be successful when you get there? Thank you. And I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Dale Liebforth.
Thank you, Dr. Witherspoon and Mrs. Airy. I appreciate it. Here to talk a little bit about kind of the details of the forum today. What you'll see is a digital packet online. If you go to tinyurl.com/teamasap, you'll be able to view a digital packet which has a series of resources that we used to print out, but now we have online for you to access at any time. Examples of what are there, the different AP courses that we offer, the actual pathways to AP documents. I'll show you one in a minute. Our pre-AP year and AP year supports that we have, information about Team ASAP, and the list goes on. So I would want you to type that address in while I'm talking here, tinyurl.com/teamasap, and you'll be able to refer to those documents as we go throughout the evening tonight, and those will be up for after the event tonight as well. So ETHS offers 34 AP courses in a variety of disciplines. You might know that we offer AP Math class, like AP Calc, or English class. But you might not know that we offer music theory or studio art, environmental science, art history, computer science, some of the ones that you may not be as familiar with. But we offer 34 different AP courses in 7 different departments, and there's 77 wonderful advanced placement teachers that teach that content to our students. So I'm most familiar with math. I'm the math department chair here as well as the AP Success Manager. So I'll put up the math pathways slide so that you can see what you'll be referring to in your packet. Most students, here's how the pathway works. Most students start in geometry here at the high school. So if you're in our geometry pathway to honors class, you can find that on the pathway. Your next course would be Algebra 2 Pathway to Honors. Then you'd take Pre-Calc and or Data Science. You might take both at the same time. And then the end of the pathway is highlighted in blue and orange. Those are AP courses. And so you might take AB Calc or Statistics your senior year. Other students, might take BC Calc, multivariable calculus, linear algebra, advanced topics in math. So depending on where you start in the pathway, you might end up at a different place in the end. But most of our students will end up in one of those advanced placement courses in the math department. So each one of our 7 departments has a pathway listed out, and you can find yourself on the pathway. You could think about what courses you want to take freshman year, and then follow along the pathway to see what courses you'll have to take before you get to those advanced placement courses, which are capstone courses in those departments. So oftentimes I get the question, what courses can I take freshman year? If you're an incoming freshman, where are these AP courses that you're talking about? Well, there aren't really any AP courses that freshmen take. There are Project Lead the Way courses that students will take that provide the same grade bump as the AP courses do, but we don't really have freshman year advanced placement courses. The exceptions to that are if you're accelerated in a discipline like world languages or mathematics, then you might be entering in an AP course, but for most students, there's not a freshman year AP course that you could take. Sophomore year, there are some options: art history, computer science A, computer science principles, and AP government and politics, focusing on the United States. Those are sophomore year AP courses that you can take, but most of our students take our advanced placement courses during junior and senior year. And there's a research base to our AP courses that I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Bavis to talk a little bit about.
Thank you, Mr. Liebforth. I'm Dr. Pete Bavis, the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction here at ETHS. One of the questions I hear from time to time is, how many AP classes should I take? Well, I went ahead and asked our good friends over at Northwestern to crunch the numbers. Through our participation in the Northwestern Evanston Education Research Alliance, they were able to look at ETHS-specific cohorts of students as they persisted into their 5th semester of college. And then they said, what made a difference? And here's what they found out. If a student didn't take an AP class while in high school, they still had a good chance of persisting in college. They were about a 35% chance. But if they took just one more AP class, that number jumped to 60%. If they took 2 AP courses, that number went up to 70%. If they took 3 or 4, they were around 80% likelihood of persisting into their 5th semester of college. Now, after that, we see that the trend kind of decreases a little bit. Still looks pretty good, but it's just not as high as it was with students who took 3 or 4. So when I'm asked how many AP classes should my student take, or should I take as a student, I say, if you take 1, you've increased your chances significantly of persistence in college. And if you take 2, that's even better. 3 or 4, you're up around 80. That's a good number. That's a good chance. So when I look at it, I say find what fits for you and then go from there. And what we're not saying is that you should do all 5, all 4 of these in one semester. We're saying spread them out over your high school career. That's what the research tells us, the ETHS specific research. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Liebforth.
Thank you, Dr. Bavis. Well, it's now my turn to set you up for the most exciting part of our evening, and that's when we get to hear from our students. You've heard several of us mention Team ASAP throughout the evening tonight. Team ASAP stands for Team Access and Success and Advanced Placement. Team ASAP has a mission to ensure that all students have access to advanced placement classes, and we create a community that supports positive and successful experiences in those AP courses. We believe that every student at ETHS should have the opportunity to successfully complete an AP class in an area of their interest. Team ASAP is a group of students, teachers, and staff at ETHS that's been going for over a decade now. These students have created supports, that we help facilitate as staff and teachers at the high school to help set students up for access to our AP classes and ultimately success in those AP classes as well. What Team ASAP has been able to establish is a series of supports in the year leading up to your advanced placement class and the year of your advanced placement class. We want students to be ready coming into the class, aware of the classes, and we want to make sure that access is granted to students and that they can have success ultimately in those classes. And so the series of supports that we've set up in the year leading into and the year of the AP classes are listed here. This is one of the materials that's available in the folder. So again, if you go to tinyurl/Team ASAP, you'll have access to this, and it shows a calendar of events that really helps to prepare our students for success in our advanced placement classes. Again, at ETHS, 3 out of every 4 students take in advanced placement classes. We have more students than ever taking these classes and more students than ever finding success in these classes as well. And so we encourage you to choose a course that you're interested in and that you're passionate about, and really go after it and prepare yourself for those classes and be successful in them. And to tell the story of the advanced placement classes, it's my pleasure now to turn it over to our students. We have a student panel of our Team ASAP Advisory Board captains. They'll refer to themselves as ABCs. Dr. Marcus Campbell will be facilitating the panel. And Tina Lula and Josh Brown will also be helping facilitate the panel as well. But we'll have an opportunity to hear from our students. We have a series of questions that they'll be answering, but also feel free to add questions to the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat on the side, and we will try to lift up those questions for our students to answer during the evening as well. So again, this is my favorite part of the evening. I'm sure it will be yours as well. It's my pleasure to turn it over to the panel now. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tina Lula, and I am part of the AP team here at ETHS. I help facilitate Team ASAP, and I teach chemistry and AP chemistry. I'm so excited that you're all here with us tonight, and I'm really looking forward to an awesome student panel. Welcome.
And hi, I'm Josh Brown. I am also work with the AP team here at ETHS, and I teach English. I work in the English department, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing from our students that are here. So I think I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Bavis.
All right, great. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I have the pleasure of hosting tonight's event and moderating, and I have my little applause button out. So we're going to turn it over to the panel in just a second. But you know, we have a great evening planned, and we're going to start off with introductions. And I believe we're going to start with Jake. So Jake, why don't you just jump in there and say your name, your school, your year rather, and the AP class you're in, that kind of thing. So go ahead.
All right. Hi, my name is Jake Chiss. I'm a senior here at ETHS. And I've taken APs in math, psychology, English, and science. So yeah.
Hi, my name's Jackie Okereke. I'm a senior also at ETHS. I've taken APs in English, math, science, and like the social sciences as well.
Hi, I'm Annabelle. I'm a junior, and currently I'm in AP English and AP History.
Karan or CJ Walker, whichever you prefer. I am a junior, and I'm taking AP Chem and Spanish.
Hello, I'm Mundo Sandoval, and I'm a junior, and I'm currently taking AP Spanish, Chemistry, and English.
Hi, I'm Adela Bautista. I'm a junior, and I'm currently taking AP History, AP English, AP Physics, and AP Spanish.
Hi, I'm Laura Peterson, and this year I'm taking AP Lang, AP US History, and AP Environmental Science.
All right, great. Very esteemed panel. Lots of perspectives we're going to hear about tonight. So as participants at home, feel free to ask questions in the chat. The chat will be moderated by Ms. Lula. She's going to be moderating the chat, and she'll be texting me questions throughout the evening. But I'm going to just jump in and ask, you know, how did you find out about AP courses, and what made you decide to take an AP course? Who would like to take that? CJ, great, hop in there.
Well, my mom, sorry if this is distracting. My mom is a teacher at ETHS, and so I've kind of already always known about AP classes a little bit, but I was really initiated, like pushed into AP classes because she wanted me to be not too surprised by college and then med school, because yeah. So.
Great, thank you so much. Anybody else want to jump in on that one? All right. Many students actually find out about AP classes through this conversation we're having right now, whether we're in the auditorium at the school or at home. So the AP Forum is another vehicle to find out about that. I'd like to go to, what was your AP experience like when you took an AP course for the first time? So maybe we could hear from Annabelle on that one.
Yeah, hi. I'm Annabelle. Yeah, I actually transferred to ETHS this year, but I've always lived in Evanston, and my brother went to ETHS. But I have learning disabilities, and so at my previous school, I was in honors classes, and so when I transferred here, it was like obvious that I would go into APs. And I guess for me, it was difficult because I wasn't aware of like how intense they were, and I have dyslexia, so I had to get all my books on audiobook, and my teachers didn't know how to do that. I had to go to like the book department, and so it definitely took a couple weeks for me to like figure out, you know, how can I talk to my teachers? How can I get extra help? How can I be successful as a kid with learning disabilities and still have the same opportunities as everyone else? So, yeah.
Well, welcome. And how's it going at this point?
You know, it's still a challenge, especially like I've had teachers that just don't really know what dyslexia is or ADHD, or just, you know, don't really think that, like I've had a teacher be like, I just don't think you're going to succeed in this class. And I just have to feel like, well, I am going to succeed in this class. And so, yeah, but now it's good. And, you know, I love my APs. So.
Thanks. Adela, do you have you had wanted to answer this question as well. You were going to talk about your sophomore experience as a sophomore.
Yeah, so my first introduction to AP courses was my sophomore year, so last year online, where I took AP Spanish for Heritage Learners. It's the first year in a 2-year AP Spanish sequence. And for me, it was really just about learning to manage like college level work while also like learning like time management skills, and also like balancing with my other activities and courses. But I found it to be really welcoming and encouraging, which like inspired me and pushed me to take more AP classes this year and the second year of the Spanish AP sequence. So I found that really helpful.
Great, thanks. Is there anybody else want to add to that? Because we're going to transition to the challenge piece in just a second. But when you enter that AP class for the first time, it can be really overwhelming, I think. And that sense of that anybody want to speak to that at all? Like how you overcome that, the support of this Team ASAP kind of group in helping that? Anybody have anything to share?
Yeah, specifically about what Adela was just saying, she's a little bit ahead of me, but I'm in the same 2-year sequence now. I'm in my first year, she's in her second. With the AP Heritage Spanish for Heritage Learners. And specifically for me, and specifically this course, not only it being an AP class, but it's almost like a stigma surrounding it for like Black and brown students. I've experienced, and in that, just don't go into it because it's not for you, which is just like, oh, just really a painful like adage that we do have to, we are faced with all the time. And in that class for me, I have a very Caribbean accent, and our dialect is very different than the majority of the students in that class, which are Mexican Americans. And so it's just, I was very apprehensive in general about being in here because it's completely in Spanish, and the teacher is teaches completely in Spanish, and I understand Spanish. I just have, I'm very apprehensive about speaking because of how I speak is very different. But community is like the number one thing. I feel like teachers, especially AP teachers, especially focus on strong community because they are already aware of those stigmas and those apprehensions that we come into the classes with. So it's like, I mean, anything, any nerves or anything, preconceptions that you that could consume you, I had and have them about the classes that I take this year, and they're being soothed. Like the way it's set up is as the reason I'm in Team ASAP. It's appropriate.
Thank you, CJ. See, Annabelle, go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that like, when you go into AP classes, there's this overwhelming feeling that like, or like pressure put on you that like you might not succeed in the class. And that like that's a good chance. Like I almost felt like, like that there was like everyone was so like everyone was feeling that same pressure that like and like it was like this competitive like loneliness I felt when I first started because I didn't know anyone else in my class who had learning disabilities, and I forgot what it was like to feel like I'm like alone in like the fact that like I have to get stuff on my computer to read to me. So like I feel like I found out about Team ASAP and I was like, oh my God, this is a community where we're talking about everything that I feel like is wrong with my classes, even though I like these classes and I feel like they're challenging. You don't talk about how challenging they are in terms of all these like societal things like when you're in the class, and to have that community with you is like so nice.
Thank you. So this is a good segue to the challenges regarding AP classes. So what was the biggest challenge as you entered? I'm getting a lot of questions here around like how much harder was this than an honors level course or than a regular level course? We could talk about that, but I think the challenge is a little more nuanced than that, right? So who would like to speak to that? The biggest challenge they had regarding taking that AP class? Yeah, great. Go ahead, Jackie.
Yeah, I think to start before taking any AP class, I think the challenge is choosing whether or not you want to take an AP class. There's always like this thought around it, like it's gonna be like a lot more difficult. It is gonna be difficult, but I feel like difficulty, like saying that, makes people not want to take the class in the first place. But like once you decided to take the class, I feel like if you're a student of color, usually like representation in those classes is also something that's like difficult because you don't really see students that look like you. Also being like a minority in a class, like what CJ and Annabelle said, there's also like this pressure to be perfect or to always be right. And I feel like a way to overcome that is just to be like, okay, everybody here is learning the same thing as you. You guys are all like going together and you're not always going to be right about it. But like the good thing about AP classes is that it's hard material, but usually like the best part is like you can come with other students and collaborate to learn. And like that's usually how my AP classes have like all worked with discussions, and I learn the best because if you just do something by yourself, you're only getting your perspective. But when you work with other people, you get different perspectives, different ways to think about things that'll help you understand better. And then just more logistical is like the workload. That is always it's a bit more than what you're used to. But if you think about how like engaging the subject is or how you're interested in it, usually that helps you like get around it. Just like taking a class that you're interested in is good.
Thank you. I'd just like to follow up on one aspect of that, and that's that aspect of, just acknowledging that these are difficult courses, but that they're difficult for just about everybody in the class, right? I mean, I think we sometimes come in with this preconceived notion that there's like this mythical AP student who's just going to get it all, and that's everybody, and that's not really the case, right? It's like when you realize that everyone is in sort of this collective struggle to learn the material, to have the experience together, and you build that community, I think that's the difference maker, right? That's the adjustment. Anybody we haven't heard from want to talk about that, or should we just move on? I'll read the room here as best I can on Zoom, but I don't want to lose sight of that, because that community piece is huge, and that idea that you're not alone is a big one. And I've heard that a couple times this evening. So just want to underscore that. And we've heard a little bit about the importance of AP, but like, why are those classes important? Are they personally important? Are they interest driven? Are they college driven? What's the what there? Why are they important to you? And this, I think, is a unique sort of, it depends on the person. So if we could just hear from a few of you folks on the call here and kind of talk about that a little bit. So why are AP classes important to you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Adela was raising her hand to speak just a minute ago. In case I didn't want to lose that.
All right, go ahead, Adele. Sorry, my bad. I missed you.
Oh, it's fine. But yeah, so going back to like the challenges and like what Jackie was saying, in my classes, like in my AP block, which is AP Lang and APUSH, or AP US History, I'm like the only Latina in that class, or like in my physics, I'm like one or two Latinas, and I feel like that it was really hard at the beginning, and just getting used to that, because I'd never been in like an environment like that where it was so not diverse. But as the year like has been going by, like the semester, I feel like through Team ASAP and like through being able to build community with the other students in my classes through different ways, and like keeping an open mind, it's like I've been able to better connect and like have a better time, like when you realize that everybody's like in the same boat, because everybody's like going through the same things on like an academic level, or like learning through the same material. It becomes less isolating, and then willing to give yourself that chance was also really helpful.
Yeah, I like you said, Adela says it's less isolating. That's like something I feel like should really, really be stressed. It's like I feel like I can't stress enough that it is extreme community. And it's like it's a much less passive way of learning, and it just being that, it forces you to be less passive. Like I'm a goofy person. Like I could just sit and laugh all day long, but sometimes it's like it's crunch time and you're focused. And when everybody's like that too, and there's no, there's a common ground. While we're still, like, because we jump back, while we're still on the challenges thing, and I'm not saying this from like a naive to challenges that people can face point. When my first 2 weeks in my AP Chem class, which being in an AP Science class, I feel like is one of the biggest like stigmas or whatever. People like really try to discourage you, or there's just a discouraging culture around. I don't feel like anybody intentionally discourages, at least not me. But until I got into the class, not my teacher, Miss Lula, who's here, is really, really, really amazing, seriously. But I had a substitute on the day she was absent, older white guy. He told me verbatim that I was not gonna last the semester, and we're sitting right here. So people really jumped into action on that. And it was just, I'm the only Black boy in my class. And he said that to me, and you don't process things that quickly. At least I don't process things like that quickly. And it doesn't matter why he said it to me. All that matters is how I felt. And I kind of felt destroyed and really distraught. But there was no like seconding that. Everybody refuted that. My teacher refuted that with how she helped me and continues to help me on a personal level. I irritate her to no end sometimes, and she's still like every day she's right there with me, like guiding me, and it's never like a hand holding thing. It feels very, very, very necessary, and it's like family. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing, CJ, and the community piece, and really super important, and really, Miss Lula's support and the community of the classroom, really, you speak to that, and you speak to being a Black male in a very difficult space at the beginning of the school year. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. I think that's going to resonate with a lot of folks out there. Annabelle, your hand was up. Was that your hand up?
At our last Team ASAP meeting, we talked about something. It was called when people like say little things to nag you or like to put you down a little bit. I can't remember what it's called right now. If anyone knows.
Microaggressions.
Yes, microaggressions. So yeah, like I think, yeah, like just to go off what CJ was saying, just like people will say that people said to me, my teacher said to me, like, I think we're just setting you up for failure. And like, I think that if you want to take an AP class, it's more about saying like, I'm going to take this class and I'm going to succeed in this class because first of all, it's an interesting class and I want to take it. And second of all, if I'm in this, like, if you decide to take an AP class, you're going to succeed if you want to, if that's what you want. So like, yeah.
And that's why it's important. See, I wrapped it back into your question.
Jackie, your hand's up.
Yeah, like what Annabelle said, it's definitely a change in mindset. You have to think that you're gonna like do well because that's gonna influence like how you move in that class as well. Even if like you don't get a good grade, you're still learning. Like the main thing is that you should be learning. And if you like change your mindset to be like, okay, I'm gonna struggle, but I'm gonna learn, then you have a better experience.
Your mic dropped. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. Where did I stop?
You were talking about the importance of learning, and that you have to keep perspective on that.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying if you change your mindset to be like, okay, it's gonna be a challenging way to learn a subject, but I'm still gonna do good, like thinking positively on that challenge, you're gonna have a better experience. You're gonna be acting to do good.
Thank you. So like this learning piece, right? We're talking about the learning and really focusing on that. Is that why the AP classes are important, or are there other reasons that those courses are important? Let's see, Mundo.
I think that what everyone said is also important. The community and just challenging yourself is really important and a good reason to start EPs. But then also another benefit from it's that it gives you it gives you experience into college level course. If you're thinking about going to college, it really helps you with the workload that you might get and what the work looks like. And then it also, some colleges accept AP credit as your college credit. So that's really nice.
Thank you. Jake, do you have anything to add on that one?
It was going to be almost the exact same thing, but just emphasizing the college part. It does help to show colleges that in your areas of interest or in your areas of strength, that you've challenged yourself and that you can succeed with college level work.
Great. Yeah, that we spoke to that earlier in the program too, around colleges taking the credit and having that on the transcript. But it's sort of a balance, right, between like I really want to be able to do this in preparation for college, and I really want to do this because I'm interested in the learning and really putting a focus, like Jackie said, on that learning and that investment in your own learning and growth. So I really appreciate all of the comments around that. I had a question, If anyone on the call has had teachers of color in their classrooms, in their AP classrooms, and and how supportive that is, if that makes a difference.
Well, I already talked about Miss Lula. I'm lucky enough this year to have two AP teachers who are both, not only are they both female, which is, I feel like is really important, but they're both people of color. Um, Miss Lula being one, my AP chemistry teacher, and Miss Bettis being my other, and she's for my AP Spanish Heritage. A specific instance of just like the an understanding that that can offer is my mom and sister got COVID, and I had to quarantine for a very long time. And it's not everybody's at home quarantining anymore. So I was just away from school all of a sudden, and it wasn't like I was just on break. I had a lot of work coming in because I have two AP classes and a bunch of other classes, and I have to, hear my mom and sister hurting, and I can't help them because I can't get near them or I'll get sick too. So it's a very challenging time for me, and the amount of communication I got from my AP teachers, and this is not even because I'm on this panel right now, it just happens to be how it is, but maybe it has something to do with the rigor of the courses, and they know as the teachers almost better than the students know that what they're giving is pretty in depth, and you have to be in it. But so maybe because of that learning, both of them, they really made sure that I was going to be okay. Like they were giving me what I could do dealing with what I was dealing with, and they were giving me what I needed to do at the end. So balancing that, so it's like I said, it's not passive on anybody's part. I can't be a passive student in an AP class, and they cannot be passive teachers. At least that's my experience. Like they are actively working for you, and that's something I really appreciated. Specifically, that like I maintained my A in both of my classes through that.
Really appreciate that perspective. Jake, your hand came up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on specifically to the teacher part. I think, and at least in my experience, my AP teachers have been the hardest working, the most exciting, the most motivating. And I really believe like a good teacher in a subject can completely change the way you feel about it, and affect you for like a lifetime. So I think something to keep in mind is when you're taking an AP class, those teachers are going to be the best teachers that you could get.
Jackie, and then Annabelle.
Going back to like having teachers of color, last year I took AP US History and I had Mr. Winchester as my teacher, and I took history again like to challenge myself. I don't like traditionally like lean towards that subject, but I think having him as a teacher was also really good. Just like I'd come in for the Zoom AM supports and be like, yeah, you assigned so much reading to do, but like we would like joke around about it, and it would just be like a good, again, like sense of community. I really felt like I got to know my teacher well, and then that also helped like when I needed help with assignments, like improving on my writing skills. That was also really good. And this year I have two female teachers of color for my AP literature class and my AP calculus class, and I think like again like those are just like good signs of like representation, and yeah, it makes learning a lot better.
Thank you, Jackie. Annabelle, I did see your hand up. You have an additional comment?
Yeah, your AP teachers will likely be the teachers, or hopefully that the teachers who will write you college letters, and I think for that, because like hopefully it'll challenge you and you'll have to talk to them about it, and you can build a relationship with them. And my English teacher told us all at the beginning of the year, like, you need to get two college letters from your teachers this year, and if you want to get one from a good one from your teachers, you need to start talking to them, you need to go to AM support, you need to do all those things. And when I started to do that especially with my AP teachers, I found that I was doing better in the class, that I had a better relationship with my teacher. I felt comfortable asking questions and asking for their support when I was struggling with an assignment. So I felt less alone, and overall made my learning better. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Briefly, and then we have a couple questions in the chat, but I briefly want to just touch on, why are you a part of Team ASAP? Let's hear from Laura. I haven't heard from Laura lately. Laura, you're on. Go ahead.
Hi. So Team ASAP, we work on creating an including environment and sense of community within the AP curriculums. We meet once a month in like groups. There's like 100 or more of us, and we talk in like small groups about our experiences, good and bad. And it like creates a voice in these AP classes. And then if you want to be a leader, which we all are, Team ASAP ABC leaders, you kind of have a more hands-on initiative role where you take that feedback from those bigger Team ASAP meetings once a month, and then you just talk about how this could like be changing your AP classes and other AP classes and how people can feel more comfortable. And being a part of like such a big group that can make a difference, and being a voice for all these people taking AP classes, whether they're like a person of color or with like gender inequality, or you just don't feel comfortable sharing or feel included in your community, we can like help with that. So I would really suggest being a part of Team ASAP next year, or just come to like the once a month meetings and share your experiences, and to make people feel more comfortable with each other and talking about these experiences. And it can make you feel like not alone, and you can feel like you're part of a bigger community.
Thank you. Just a couple real nuts and bolts kind of questions that are out there. One is study time. How much more study time? How do you do study time? How does it compare to other courses? Jake, I see your hand up.
Okay, there's definitely more study time, but one thing I just want to say is that, like, especially for me, study with friends and study with people from your class, because that is like super helpful for keeping you on track. It also makes it more fun to do the work in your classes, right? And you also get to build that community. So in terms of staying efficient and staying motivated in the class, highly emphasize studying with friends.
Study with friends, good advice. Mundo.
To add on to what Jake said, at least in my experience, especially for my AP chemistry class that I'm in with Miss Lula and CJ, that we have a remind that Miss Lula set up, so we can always ask her. And if that's not available, us students made a group meet where we can ask each other questions and we can share notes. So if someone's absent, we can post our notes there, have them, and then just ask questions about the homework if we ever need it and all that. So that's a great sense of community that just in classrooms that we have. So you're not alone when like studying and all that. You can always ask questions.
So that goes to that community piece again, which is a common theme we're hearing tonight. I have another just nuts and bolts question. For those of you who on this call, there's a couple, I know there's at least one person who took an AP course sophomore year. Would you recommend, if you could, taking an AP class sophomore year, or would you wait?
I would definitely recommend taking an AP course sophomore year, maybe just like one, just to like get into, just to get used to and see what it's like, and like how you can adapt to it before diving into like junior year, which is when most people traditionally like put in like the bigger part of their AP curriculum before college. So I think, yeah, definitely sophomore year is super helpful to get to ease into that transition and make that better for you and see what works for you before taking like a bunch of them the next year.
Thank you. And I appreciate hearing that. And I think, it's different for everybody, but I do appreciate that. And dipping your toe in the water and trying to get, to what is to come, right? To experience it when the workload may be a little less in other courses and things. My next question though has to do with just advice in general. If we just did like a quick, like, hey, here's one thing I wish I knew going in, it's been super helpful. I think we've heard some of these things. We've heard about community tonight. We've heard about study groups, heard about reaching out to our teachers. We've heard about all of that. But like, what would be a piece of advice you would offer if you just said, hey, here's one thing I wish I knew ahead of time? Let's see, Annabelle, go ahead.
Don't let anyone discourage you. Like, I feel like in the past, people have said like, oh, don't take that class, it's really hard. And like every time someone has said that to me and I've listened to them, I've instantly regretted it. And I think if I listened to even myself earlier this year about taking APs, I would have really regretted it. And yeah.
Laura.
Always like put your mental health first. It's really important to find your balance between what you can achieve and what you feel comfortable like pushing yourself for. And so if you do pile on a lot of classes and you have a lot of work, these teachers want you to succeed. And so asking them for like an extension or coming in for all like the resources that we have, like the Academic Study Center, Wildcat Academy, and AIM support, which is available like a lot of days, is really important. And if you feel like something is overwhelming, your teachers and your classmates are always available to help you.
Thank you, Laura.
Just do it. And that generally like that's a blanket thing, and you're not supposed to make blanket statements, but just do it. Should I take an AP class? Just do it. Pick one that you're really, really interested in, like that you think you would be really, really interested in because you probably know yourself best. So just do it. This homework is hard. I don't feel like it. Just do it, because then you'll realize it's not as hard as you think. I'm a very lazy person. Like that's my inherently, I'm a lazy person. I have the best grades in my hardest 2 classes. Just do it. So anything you could think about, like I don't like to ask questions because I don't like to feel dumb. That's another personal thing. Just do it. I ask a whole bunch of questions. I don't stop asking questions, and it's not my fault. You know, it was Miss Lula telling me to just do things like that. So the advice for people who are even thinking about AP is just do it because you can. Just do it somehow, some way.
Just do it. Jackie, it's your turn. You're on.
Yeah, just like what CJ said, I think asking questions is something that you should get more comfortable with doing if you have a problem with. It's not a bad thing to ask questions, even if you think like it's a dumb question, like for clarification, just to make sure that you're the most sure on something as you can be. I think that it's good, and also shows your teacher that you're like engaged, and it keeps you engaged. If you have questions, it's a good thing to have questions.
Yeah, and then everybody, this is another thing I found too. I'll ask a question that I'm thinking in my head, this is a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. And then everybody goes, oh, because everybody else has that same apprehension about asking that question. So just do it. Just ask your question. Everybody wants you to ask your question. They just don't want to ask it themselves. So be a leader.
You just stole the words from my mouth. I was going to say that's what leadership is. I'm hearing it from Jackie. I'm hearing it from CJ. That's what it is, right? It's asking that question for yourself, but it's really a question that everybody, or lots of people have. So just put yourself out there. It's just, yeah, exactly. Annabelle, your hand was up. Do you have a comment on this one?
I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think I was thinking that like, what CJ was saying about just do it. Like, I mean, my favorite part about APs is that like, I don't even think there's any busy work, at least in my APs. Like everything I'm doing is so intentional, and like, I'm like, oh my God, like that's such a crazy question. Like I just am expanding the way I'm thinking about the world. And like in other, like I love that so much. Like it's a college class. And then, like my normal classes, I got some math problems. You know what I mean? So that's, just doing the work. But really in APs, it's about expanding your mind and like, why we're doing the work, so.
I totally appreciate that. I appreciate just do it. I appreciate putting ourselves out there. I appreciate just doing the work. And here's my question. And this is a question that came from the chat, and I think it's a question that we hear a lot. how many hours per week does it take? Like, I mean, and I know it varies by student, but like, if you're taking like these science classes, we're here, we got quite a few folks on the call taking some science classes. We got folks taking, language classes. We got folks taking English classes, history classes, all sorts of different. How many hours per week on this? Like, what's an AP? I mean, if you could, Jake, what do you think? You got an opinion on that one?
I mean, I'm trying to think because I know it varies a lot by person. And it can also vary on like what's going on in the class, if you have a test coming up or not. But I'd say about on average, you would probably spend like maybe a half hour per class every day. I'm not sure. I'm trying to estimate, but yeah, there will be work. But it's definitely doable.
Some nights might be more work than others too. So
exactly, yeah.
So I got a bunch of hands up. So Jackie, and then Adela, and then Annabelle. Go ahead. Jackie, you're up.
It depends. Yeah, I think it depends on if it's like a reading intensive class as well. I took AP US History. That was like maybe an extra like couple hours in the week just for like reading, taking notes. For science classes and math classes, it might not take as much time just because like reading textbooks and taking notes is just time consuming. But yeah, it depends on how like efficient you work and what you're getting in class.
For me, I'm taking 4 APs this year, and I would probably say I get around 2 to 3 hours of homework just for my APs every night that I'm doing. But I'm also like a super big procrastinator, which is like not a good habit. But I feel like there is definitely a lot of work, especially in my AP block, which is history and English. There's a lot of work coming from that, and then from Spanish, it's like super reading and writing intensive. So I feel like that is also something that you have to like make time for, and then it's also like a commitment to like being like coming into like AM support and like knowing when you need like help and like making a commitment to do that, because otherwise that's the only way like you'll be able to succeed, like making that commitment to do your homework and like do all your assignments, even if it's like a lot.
Annabelle, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that I have like I'm also in like AP block, which is English and history. And I would say from those 2 classes, it's like 1 to 2 hours a night. And then I also usually end up devoting like my whole Sunday to like just the reading for history every week. Cause we'll do like a chapter a week, which is like 30 pages, and you have to write notes on it. And then usually like every 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have like 2 tests on it. So every like 3 outlines. So it's a lot of reading. Yeah.
So I appreciate all. Oh, go ahead. Yes, Laura.
It also depends on like what teacher you have. Like I'm in the same AP block, APUSH and AP Lang with Adela, and our AP US History teacher doesn't believe in a lot of homework, so we get mostly classwork. But then on the other hand, we have the AP Lang, and we get like summatives to do every other week. And I can spend like 4 hours straight on like an essay one night. But it really depends on how much like you value that class and the information you're getting. And like the more passionate you are about it, like the less I like dread it. And so even if it might be a lot of work and a lot of commitment, taking this class like gives you that drive that you like want to succeed and want to get out of high school and like progress you to your post-college goals.
I just want to say, because I'm getting ready to summarize the whole panel, and I really can't summarize it. I feel like this was just the most amazing group of students on a panel. I do these panels with faculty, with staff. I've done panels with tons of different folks. I'm humbled to be a part of this panel. Where we went tonight in this conversation, all because of the leadership present on this call. I want to thank everybody. I this was incredible. And what a courageous, what a wonderful, what a vulnerable group of folks on this call, and what great leadership. So I want to thank everyone on this call, all of you. You guys did an amazing, amazing job. And again, Team ASAP, Team Access and Success and Advanced Placement. When you see these students tomorrow or the next day or in the coming weeks leading up to course requests, filling out those forms, these are the folks you want to talk to. Such great perspective. Again, I appreciate everybody on the call. And that's my final word. And I just want to thank everybody and bring it to a close. So thank you, folks. What a great evening. And again, blown away. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good night.